Boy, it has been a crazy week of Yu-Gi-Oh! Between the ban list and ban list drama, some spreadsheet issues, and now another huge thing. I think that Konami might be the first major company to completely backdoor their fan base. Well, I guess there's EA and then Blizzard, but that's a different story. But the overall theme here is that Konami's new policy has completely ruined Yu-Gi-Oh! For a majority of its players, and for the players that it hasn't ruined it for yet, it should make you incredibly skeptical. I think the biggest question we have to ask ourselves as I break down everything that happens in this video is why are they exactly doing this? And I think I have an answer that I'll explain in the later portions. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. What's going on with y'all big dogs? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! It's really interesting that I say that because this news that I'm about to deliver is not amazing, but as I always say, I hope your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day, and we have a solution so that won't happen. So to get to the nitty gritty of it, Konami is ruining Time Wizard format yet again. If you guys haven't been keeping up with this Time Wizard Yu-Gi-Oh! Drama, about a month ago, Konami made a huge announcement pretty much ruining the format, only to double back when content creators and Yu-Gi-Oh! Players alike gave a huge pushback. If you guys want to hear the logistics of what happened, I have a video that talks all about the original change, and then I even have a video talking about their reversion. Now Konami seems to be doing a reversion of the reversion, and they're trying to do it covert. Instead of announcing it, they're telling their stores to do the dirty work. But first, let's talk about exactly what is Time Wizard format. For Yu-Gi-Oh! Players that like enjoying playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in like the Duel Monsters era, maybe even the GX or even the 5Ds era, then Time Wizard format is for you. It's simply a particular format whereas instead of playing modern Yu-Gi-Oh! You can jump back in time and play any older format as a group. Some of the most popular formats that people like to enjoy playing is the GOAT format. This format dates back to 2005 Yu-Gi-Oh! So 20 years ago, where the only monsters inside of your extra deck are fusion monsters. Then there's the Edison format, which is pretty much the 5D style of Yu-Gi-Oh! Synchro monsters and fusion monsters. And while there are some other incredibly popular formats like Tengu Plant and even Hat format, those are the two most popular, and it is so big that it has an entire community surrounding it. Time Wizard format encapsulated that moment and allows you to play the game exactly how it was played during that time. Time travel format though, something that Konami is implementing now, is a little bit different. Again, big dogs, I talked about it in that last video, but to give you a quick frame of reference, basically in time travel format, there have been quite a few changes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Card effects and how we play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. Time travel format is addressing those particular changes that are in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! In the past. Old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are calling this pretty much a made up Yu-Gi-Oh! Format, and they have a point. Because a lot of cards that were changed in the modern version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Simply did not exist in those previous forms. For example, a card like Crush Card Virus, which its original errata represents what Kaiba used against Yugi and Pegasus and other players alike, is a completely different card than the current errata of how the card works. There's also a few rule changes in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! That is completely different than what would be in time travel. Also, since time travel format uses more modernized rules, certain aspects about older formats are completely lost. Basically, this is Konami stripping down that nostalgic feel in their competitive events, but still allowing you to play the nostalgic format. A good reference with this would be like saying we can go play 80s basketball, but then implementing all of the new rules instead of the old ones. What's the point? And for the people that are wondering why would Konami even do something like this, it's pretty simple when you look at Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. You see, as of current, Master Duel doesn't have a way to differentiate some of the older errata Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards than the newer errata. And Master Duel also works on one particular rule set, which is the modern rule set. If you guys have decided to play time travel format in Master Duel, you'll notice a few things. One, they always go by the OCG sets and cards that happened in the OCG, and two, everything is always modernized. based. This allows them to be able to sync up Master Duel events alongside of TCG events, but how Konami is going about it is incredibly terrible. You see, under normal circumstance, a normal company would listen to its players. If the majority of this nostalgic community has rejected your idea, then you probably should figure out something that will allow you to accommodate for both sections. Konami did that during the North American World Championship qualifier by going back on time travel and allowing players to use Time Wizard based Yu-Gi-Oh decks. And the reason why we Yu-Gi-Oh players should not only feel skeptical, we should also start questioning Konami is that they did that publicly. Big dogs, there is actually proof that Konami has been going behind our backs messaging OTS stores, forcing them to drop Time Wizard format. Why didn't you make another announcement, Konami? Nah, stand on business. Say what you was gonna say. And the crazy thing about this is that if there weren't content creators to actually tell the public what really went down, this could have actually pitted local community players against their OTS stores and not Konami. And it's even doubly more fucked up that Konami is even threatening these OTS stores that if they continue to run Time Wizard format, they can lose their OTS sanctionship. In case you didn't know, Yu-Gi-Oh stores live by their OTS sanctionship. It allows shops to be able to give out OTS packs for your tournament entry, as well as doing sneak premieres or world previews, selling Yu-Gi-Oh sets a week in advance prior to street release, which is huge for local stores. In fact, your OTS sanctionship is so huge, I know Yu-Gi-Oh stores that are staying afloat just because of those type of events. So it's not like these OTS stores can say no. If I'm being real with you guys, the higher ups at Konami are so trash, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually placed some type of sanctions on this store that was just doing their job. Or if they completely booted an OTS store that decided to side with their players and support their community. And what's even more messed up is that Konami's documents are even updating to not include Time Wizard. They're literally throwing an entire nostalgic feel away in the garbage can. The crazy thing about this is that this is going into effect right now. If your local store shop is hosting Time Wizard events and if one person snitches, they could be in some serious trouble. And
That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Like, because like a majority of people who play, I know kids play Yu-Gi-Oh, of course, but a good majority, especially in my car shop, in my local car shop, a majority of them are grown men and women. Can you imagine? Can you imagine like a grown man or a grown woman like emailing or calling Konami and snitching and like, hey, this card shop is doing time wizard format. You should probably look into that. Like, can you like imagine that? That is really, oh man, and, like doing it out of spite because you know, if a card shop does run time wizard format, like under the table in some way, shape, or form, it's probably because they need that community support in order to pay the bills and to like it's not like they're doing anything horrible. It's not like they're selling drugs. They're just using a format that's I guess not sanctioned or not supported by Konami. And for someone to just snitch on them and ruin them like that, that is just pure evil. That is pure evil. Come on, guys. Uh, you can't be doing that to these local car shops. That's ridiculous. Come on now.
if you guys know people, there's always gonna be that one hater in the background that's gonna snitch. Heck, it'll be a hater in the background that'll say a shop is doing it even when they're not doing it. And Konami doesn't actually need proof to rip your sanctioning out. They can kind of do what they want. Now, how exactly will this affect Yu-Gi-Oh players that aren't into retro formats? Because trust me, it has a huge effect on you too, which is why you should be skeptical. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, Konami has always had this power to message an OTS store and force them to pretty much do what they want, because they know the type of leverage they have over these stores, and ripping their sanctioning away could be a death sentence to your favorite store. Stores don't necessarily know when, where, how, or if they'll get caught, so from an owner's perspective, it's almost a no-brainer to just do what they say. So if Konami
Yeah.
just said something like certain products and features can't be inside of a store, kind of like what they did in Europe, there's almost nothing stopping them from not making an announcement and just telling OTS stores directly. This has pretty much opened the floodgates, and to me, it says that Konami doesn't respect you as a person. But I know one product they just can't ban because it's too strong. It's the Raven Wing version 3s.
Here's a
Raven Wing
commercial.
is made by yours
I'm letting it
truly,
play
the
out.
Cali Effect. And this is the #1 sleeve in the United States of America. Hell, it'd be the #1 sleeve in the world if it go across the world. So big dogs, if you guys want to support the channel while also getting something in return, considering going to thecalieffect.com to pick up your sleeves today. We also have other amazing things like mats and soon to be accessories, so go ahead and check them all out at thecalieffect.com. The big question, why is
Alrighty.
Konami
Check it
ruining
out,
Time
guys.
Wizard format and alienating its retro Yu-Gi-Oh players, will probably answer so many questions, and we can also more than likely use this as a predictive tool on what Konami will do next. Off the top of my dome, I have 3 possible theories, but to be honest with you, the third theory is way more likely. The first theory is, does Konami have a secret handshake agreement with a competitor to sell off the IP? We as a people have seen this happen before, where a company has agreed to sell to another company behind closed doors before it becomes public, and then they kind of just don't care about their game. Or sometimes other companies will buy the licensing or the rights to a company just to drive it into the ground to force you to go to their real product. Could this be one of those situations? Well, I don't think Wizard of the Coast has a big enough bag, let alone do they care. I also think as big as Disney is, they're probably focused on their own card game. In my opinion, and I don't mean any shade, but it's more than likely Bandai, because they're really good at ruining good games. Let me know if you guys think that that's a possible reason. The second one is just simply incompetence. Are the higher ups at Konami so out of touch in reality that they just decide to run it their way and not care? Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, the higher ups are fairly incompetent. And I want to put a point of emphasis to the higher ups. Not everyone that works at Konami is a representative of what Konami does. There's actually some incredibly dope people there. I'm not even gonna lie, they're amazing. But those decision makers, they seem really out of touch in reality. But I actually do have some pushback to this one too. There is no way in the world you become a big decision maker at a multi-billion-dollar company without knowing how to make money. While there are some things that we as a public can disagree with, one thing is for certain, Konami is really good at making money. And while we may not like the changes that have been happening in Yu-Gi-Oh, this person still has a job, and the shareholders still must really like them because they continue to do the same things, and it seems like it continues to make them more money. So this leads me to my third option, which
Fair.
only boosts the credibility of the last part that I said about the second option. They don't care about TCG players. Let's face it, guys, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has backdoored us TCG players. We were the money makers for Konami. We were the breadwinners. But the fact of the matter is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is one of Konami's most successful things ever. While Master Duel does have its fair share of problems, it is racked in Konami billions. And I think that it's more likely that Konami is ready to make Master Duel its front and center child while we kind of get kicked off to the side. Essentially, anything that happens in the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG needs to be a reflection upon Master Duel, because it's just simply a hell of a lot easier to force players to adapt to Master Duel's rules, which is the current modern Yu-Gi-Oh! With the current card text, than to go into Master Duel and make changes that can confuse newer Yu-Gi-Oh! Card players and support players that typically don't buy new product, typically don't buy retro product, and only see Yu-Gi-Oh! From a lens over 15 years ago.
That theory is probably the most accurate. I'm thinking that Master Duel is the influence, and Konami just believes that it's the future, and the TCG is just something that they're going to hang on to just long enough for Master Duel to become a little bit more lucrative, and then they're going to make the next step in that direction. So that theory makes the most sense.
I think when you put it that way and you start to look at some of the other things, like how you have to link your Konami account to Master Duel, it makes perfect sense. It's definitely one of the more scummy things that they've done and probably deserves its own type of video. Maybe how Master Duel ruined the TCG Yu-Gi-Oh game, something like that. Let me know if that's what you want to see. But if another new breaking announcement comes back and it's geared towards Master Duel, then we would definitely have our answer. Overall, big dogs, that pretty much explains what Konami is doing to Yu-Gi-Oh! And why they simply seemingly want to ruin it. I want you guys to let me know down below in the comment section, what do you think about this current situation? And also, what are you guys going to do about it? Me personally, I'm going to create my own Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals, and it's going to have blackjack and hookers. Well,
Okay. All right. All right. All right. That was a bit much. That was a bit much. It's an interesting idea, but I can't. I don't think that would be a good idea for a card shop. Well, it might be a good idea for a car shop, but you would have to be very specific about who you let in there, because no one gets sued. But let me not go down that rabbit hole right now. Um, uh, TCG, Yu-Gi-Oh players, man, I feel your pain. And this is a situation that's really like um becoming more and more prominent. Like they're really, really, really um like leaning towards this I had to change that shot right there. Um they really had to really oh man, it, it's just chaos right now. It's just chaos right now. Like the complaints for